Donald Trump, loser of the 2020 election. Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election. Donald Trump is the loser. He did not win. Donald Trump lost. Joe Biden won because he's the winner. The 2020 election was not fraudulent. Donald Trump lost. Joe Biden won. So hopefully that's good. And YouTube doesn't hate me for that. But Donald Trump has been campaigning, and he's been saying some crazy ass shit in regards to January 6th. So check this out. Trump claims violence he inspired on Jan 6 was Pence's fault. So a couple days ago, Michael Pence came out and said that history will hold Donald Trump accountable. You know, that's stupid-ass garbage. History is not holding anybody accountable. And also, being held accountable doesn't even really mean anything. The phrase is just vapid garbage. It has no definition. People just say it just to say it. It doesn't mean anything. So not only does holding someone to account mean nothing, but the idea that history is going to do that somehow, let's be honest, that is not real. But Donald Trump apparently responded, and wow. So let's read. Donald Trump on Monday sharply rebuked Mike Pence's assertion that history will hold him accountable for January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, telling reporters that his former vice president should shoulder the blame for the violent riot that day by Trump supporters. What's notably absent from this Washington Post article here is the word insurrection. At least it's not in the opening paragraph. I'd like to Control F. Insurrection. Insurrection is not found anywhere in this article, so a little interesting. I don't know why the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, would be caping for Donald Trump in the fashion of downplaying what happened on January 6, 2021. It was an insurrection. A riot is a word that you could call it a riot and an insurrection, but a riot can also not be an insurrection. The really problematic aspect of January 6th was not really a riot, right? It's bad, but the insurrectionary aspect is the more dangerous part of it. So again, it being a riot, I mean, people do riots over the Super Bowl, right? People do riots over the World Cup, right? A riot is, you know, they're not mutually exclusive. You can riot in an insurrectionary way, but what's more important on January 6, 2021 is that it was an insurrection. So again, I don't know why mainstream media is afraid of that word, but I'm not. So Donald Trump, Mike Pence engaged in an insurrection. Plain as, that simple. Quote, this is Donald Trump, had he sent the votes back to the legislatures, they wouldn't have had a problem with Jan 6. So in many ways, you can blame him for Jan 6. Now again, of course, that's not a thing. You can't just wave your magic wand and say, let the states vote again. It's not a thing, okay? You know, Donald Trump might as well have said, and Mike Pence could have got up there and opened a bag of Oreos and just decided to eat them and would have said in the congressional record, that Oreos should be the next president. Like, that's not a thing. You can't do that. It's made up, right? Like, it's obviously, we know that. I have to say that, though, just so people understand what's happening. The former president said, referring to Pence's refusal, do Oreos come in bags, by the way? I'm not actually sure. Referring to Pence's refusal to reject the Electoral College, blah, blah, blah. Had he sent them back to Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, the states, I believe, number one, you would have had a different outcome. Well, yeah, like, if you did something differently, you would have had a different outcome. True, right? Like, if I scratch this side of my face, it's a different outcome than if I scratch this side of my face. Yeah, it's yes, that is a correct assessment of the situation. I also believe you wouldn't have had Jan 6, as we call it. I mean, okay, so let's hypothetically, Mike Pence sends it back to the states. Obviously, that's not a thing. It doesn't happen, right? So you think that the Trumpers would it would have, instead of Jan 6, it would have been like just Jan 20 or something, right? Like just at the next opportunity, right? The Trumpers would have fucking tried to do an insurrection when their fucking meme shit failed, right? Like they were threatening an insurrection on the Electoral College meeting. I think that's like late December, like I want to say December 20 or something, maybe. They were threatening to do an insurrection there, and then they're like, no, let's do it on January 6th instead, right? So like it's just kicking the can down the road. So yeah, we wouldn't have had a Jan 6, we would have a Jan 20, right? Or 19, whatever it would have been. That's what we would have had. December 14th, according to Tyler in the chat, is when the Electoral College meets. But again, I just think that this whole situation, again, Donald Trump is not actually eligible to run for office. He's actually banned from holding federal office. It's just that we live in a country where we have an attorney general who's a pussy-ass bitch. Merrick Garland is a beta male, pussy-ass bitch, and he's afraid of reading the Constitution, right? So imagine... right, I am Merrick Garland, okay? And this piece of blank paper is the Constitution, right? Like, imagine, right, like, I just, like, look at... I can't look at this! No. Like, that's Merrick Garland when it comes to the Constitution. Max is very concerned. He's afraid of the Constitution because he's a pussy-ass bitch. Why he's the Attorney General? Probably because Biden is a dumb fuck, right? Biden is just a really unintelligent person. If I were to guess Joe Biden's IQ, it's probably 40, maybe 50 on a good day. And that's maybe not counting the fact that he's not all there anymore when it comes to dementia, right? So again, Merrick Garland's not even a real, like, what even is he? Is he a law professor? No, he doesn't know anything about the law. Is he a lawyer? No, he doesn't know anything about the law. Is he like a judge? Well, he was trying to be, but good thing he's not because he doesn't know anything about the law. Why is he attorney general? You know, it's like, it would be like picking some random person off the sidewalk and saying that they get to be the head of Health and Human Services, right? Like, it's just, what? Like it would be like if I signed up to lead the next expedition to Mars. Like, I don't know how to do that, right? Like, it's like if I said, hey, you know, I'm going on a flight. Hey, pilot, you know, just take a break. You know, settle down for a bit. I got this. And then I head into the cockpit and fly the plane. I don't know how to fly a plane. Therefore, I should not be in that position. Somehow, Merrick Garland has fallen upwards, you know, into the attorney generalship. I don't know how that's even possible. He doesn't know anything about the Constitution. I mean, let's be honest. I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of people, they roll their eyes at this shit, right, because they've been propagandized. But again, we have a Constitution. Whether or not you like it, I certainly don't like it, right, is irrelevant. The Constitution clearly states if you engage in an insurrection or give aid or comfort to those engaging in an insurrection, you're banned from holding federal office. So whether or not Merrick Garland's like level of pussiness is not really that relevant at all to the text of the Constitution. Like Merrick Garland having, like, you know, been diagnosed with low testosterone or whatever it is that's going on is not relevant to the text in the Constitution. I don't care what Merrick Garland's opinion is. I don't care what Congress's opinion is. The Constitution exists. It says if you engage in an insurrection, you're banned. Full stop. I don't give a fuck, okay? But whatever, you know. We don't live in a country of law and order. We live in a country of fucking soap opera, drama, reality TV show, right? So again, on that note, I would like to say I am going to be running for president as a 26-year-old. I'll be 27 soon. I'll be 28 by the time of the election. You might be thinking, what? But the Constitution says you need to be 35. Exactly. Well, as we've clearly demonstrated, and I'm willing to go to court. You know, if anyone wants to represent me, anybody, if I have lawyers in my audience, if anyone wants to represent me in a court case, I'm willing to go to court. If the Constitution doesn't apply to the orange man, why does it apply to me? When you think about it, I've done a lot of psychedelic drugs. I'm being honest with you. So mentally speaking, I'm way older than 35. I'm like at least 89 years old when it comes to my mental state. Why? Because I do mushrooms all the time. So with that being said, let's get back into this article. A pro-Trump mob, blah, blah, blah. Trump was responding to Pence's remarks on Saturday, where he said unequivocally that Trump had been wrong to demand him. I'm glad Mike Pence has finally come out to say that Donald Trump is wrong. You know, he could have said that the day of. He could have said that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I'm glad, you know, a couple years later he said, bad. Well, that's, you know, pretty strong words. And then we got this white tie diner. What the fuck is a white tie? I don't even know what that means. But anyway, I mean, it's just, again, why is this news? I don't know. I don't know why this is news. I don't know why we had, like, Donald Trump is literally banned from federal office. He is banned from running for any position in the United States. He couldn't run to be in a municipality. He could not run to be on a school board. He couldn't run for any office in any state in the United States. And yet we're all pretending like he's allowed. You know, why? I don't know. For clicks, for ad revenue, whatever. We live in a shitty ass fucking goddamn world, and we live in a country that is just falling apart at the seams. We don't have a constitution anymore. And again, this whole back and forth thing is just, I don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say. It's just lame. It's dumb. It means nothing, right? Oh, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Meanwhile, all the other architects of the insurrection, Steve Bannon, right? Mo Brooks, remember that guy, right? You know, all these kind of guys, they're still walking around not in jail. And again, what does this all boil down to? Merrick Garland is a fucking pussy. Full stop. That's it. Nancy Pelosi is a demented freak. Full stop. Cori Bush, Congresswoman from Missouri, I believe, brought forth a resolution to literally just read the 14th Amendment live in Congress. Nancy Pelosi personally stepped in to make sure that no one knows about the 14th Amendment. I believe that there were like 60 or 70 Democrats, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that said, hey, 14th Amendment Section 3, these guys are banned. They're gone. Like, they're gone. If they would have actually enforced the Constitution, at least 30 or 40 Republican senators would have been instantly gone. Now, again, they would have just been appointed by the governors, so, you know, wouldn't reshape the balance of power too much. But hey, you would have had at least 150, you know, closer to 200, but, you know, there's a couple people that were on the line. Members of the House that would have been banned. They would have lost. They would have been out of Congress. They would have been in jail, and they would have been banned from holding office. Now, again, when someone is removed or leaves or resigns or dies in the House, you have to wait until there's a special election, right? So in an alternate world where Democrats actually gave a fuck about anybody, they would have invoked the 14th Amendment, Section 3. They would have banned the Republican Party. They would have just banned the Republican Party. That's really what they need to do. But, you know, again, that's not really within the scope of the 14th Amendment. But literally, a plain-face reading of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, would have said that at least 150 Republicans in the House are banned, right? Which would mean Democrats go from like a majority, very slight majority, to a super duper fucking majority. They could have passed Medicare for all that shit. Obviously, you know why they didn't go with that route. But I'm willing to suggest, right, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, says if you engage in an insurrection or give aid or comfort to those engaging in an insurrection, I would define aid and comfort, right? I would say Donald Trump is feeling pretty comfortable not being in a jail cell, right? I would say that Nancy Pelosi should be banned from federal office because she gave aid and comfort to someone that engaged in an insurrection. She protected Donald Trump from the power of the 14th Amendment. So now again, that is open to interpretation. What's not open to interpretation is the fact that Donald Trump and a supermajority of the Republican Party should be banned from holding any office. That is, again, not open for interpretation. Anyone who's honestly reading the Constitution would agree with me. But I'm willing to say, on a personal note, my interpretation of 14th Amendment Section 3 would furthermore ban people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, who again gave aid and comfort to those engaging in an insurrection in the form of not holding them accountable for that insurrection. I would say again, Donald Trump is pretty comfortable running for president right now, even though he engaged in an insurrection and is technically banned from office, right? So again, actions have consequences. That's my opinion. Nancy Pelosi should be in jail for the same reason Donald Trump is. But, again, that's my opinion. But what's not my opinion, what is in the realm of fact, not my opinion, not anyone's interpretation, in the realm of fact says that if you engage in an insurrection, you're banned from office. Donald Trump legally, constitutionally, cannot run for president. And so, again, if the Constitution doesn't apply to him, how come the 35-year age requirement applies to me? I disagree. So again, on that note, I'm announcing I'm going to run for president. If there are lawyers in my audience, anyone that wants to represent me in any fashion, to join my campaign, send me a message. And you might think I'm joking, but I'm partially joking. But in all seriousness, if there is a lawyer in my audience, I'm totally down to go into a court case or whatever, just to make this point, just, as a message, right? I'm totally down to petition a judge or a court for this. I'm absolutely, someone help me out if you want to. But either way, this primary, if you could call it a primary, is heating up, ? But not really. Because Mike Pence is he's got the power level of a wet sponge that's been sitting on the windowsill for fucking 3 days, and you forgot to wring out all the water, and now it's getting moldy and stinky. Ugh, you ever do that? You ever make that mistake? I've done it a couple times. Haven't made the mistake ever since I figured out what that smell was coming from. But anyway, Donald Trump is obviously going to eviscerate these people. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, they had the power to prevent this exact scenario where Trump runs again. They refused to do it. They dropped the ball. As far as I'm concerned, that's giving aid and comfort. So fuck them all straight to hell. But either way, there you go. Once again, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Donald Trump lost. He lost the 2020 election. And he's a loser. Donald Trump is a loser. Joe Biden won. So there you go.